So let's get this going, and then I'll see you in about 3 minutes. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if the music sucks. This is on my laptop. All right, I'm assuming that's good. No, it's not good?
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
All right. The laptop speakers are not as good.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best? There is no second best. There's a crypto asset, it's called Bitcoin, right? There is no second best. Bitcoin? No. Bitcoin's crypto asset. This entire idea of like 60% dominance is bullshit ridiculous. There's no second best crypto asset. No, there's no second best. There's a crypto asset, it's called Bitcoin, right? No, there's no second best.
Welcome to Designated Degens, where we degen responsibly. I'm going to take it off full spectrum so you don't hear my air fire. All right, there we go. That probably sounds better. It is beeping. My chimichangas are ready. Yeah, we're going to get into it tonight. Good news, end of month candle is green. It is green, boys. It's kind of like a hammer candle, you know. I wanted it to be more of a doji, but that's okay. Doji candle, for you guys that don't know, is a reversal candle. And the last time we've had it 6 monthly candles red in a row was back in the end of 2018, which would have been the 2017, end of bull market or bull market of the 2017 all-time high. So yeah, we avoided, the 6 red candles. So that's good. That is good. We haven't had the relief pump that we saw, from 2021. But we didn't have 3 impulse waves, which is what I call, is part of the Elliott wave, which is why I think, we're going to, go up from here. So the green candle just correlates. The end of month candle correlates. Bad news, 2 red quarterly candles. So just like in the United States or anywhere else in the world, when there's 2 quarters that are negative GDP growth, it's considered a recession. So I'm going to just apply that to Bitcoin. We are going into a bear market. I think it was the last one, right, Hermit? That I did the bear market projection, right? That was.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the corrective waves. So where I think it's going to go from here, you can go back on our page or we'll pin it to the top. I can't pin shit because I'm on an Android. Thanks, Elon. And Android beta isn't any better, but. In fact, I can't even do spaces on the Android beta version. But yeah, in my original post, I posted 2 charts. One is the monthly candles and the 3-month candles. And then if you go back, maybe we'll post the Elliott wave bear market projection from the previous spots up there. And then we're just going to talk about it, man. So thanks for showing up. Let's go. How you doing, Hermit? And then we'll go to Heine and EAC?
I'm doing good. I was just posting the two charts up there, or pinning them up top. I'm doing pretty decent. I was dog sitting and essentially cat sitting as well past week or whatever. So I'm back home though, and now I just have to set everything up and set up like my laptop and all that stuff. I got into a trade this morning, and that went okay. I was in a short, and I did it before I started driving, and I was like, that's probably a bad idea. And it worked out. It worked out because I forgot about the trade, and had I been like thinking about the trade the entire time, I would have closed for a loss. But this time I held and yeah, closed for a profit. So that was good.
That's
On my
freaking
yeah,
hilarious, man. Because I'm in two longs on two different platforms. I DCA'd into this second one. I've already taken profit on one, and I'm in the green. I don't even care to set a stop loss and profit, but I set the. But I put a trailing stop. I love that trading while driving story because our previous buddy did that and lost like thousands of dollars doing that. But you know,
well, well, and that's just it. Like my biggest issues, even when I'm not driving or anything, it's I'll put in a trade and then I'll get distracted by something, and then I'll be like, oh no. I was, I was just like, I forgot I have a trade open, and then I go back to look, and sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great. I just remember, like I've told it many a time, I had a trade open probably for weeks, honestly, because I remember going back to this
I
one
remember that.
exchange, yeah, the exchange, and I was just like, do I have any money here? And then I was just like, oh, geez, I've got a trade open, and it was obviously a massively good trade, but yeah, it was luck was on my side that day, or those for those 3 weeks or however long it was.
Yeah, for the degen culture, I set my second take profit. It's a trailing stop, so that's good for those scenarios where you're on the road. You just set a trailing stop, but I set a trailing stop for 69,420. I just had the feeling, right? And then my next take profit is about 75 to 0.5K. That's like ultimate if we keep going up. So yeah, but we'll talk about that. Let's go to Heine and EAC, whichever one unmutes first.
All right. Yeah, I'm doing
What's
good.
up, Tex? How are you, buddy?
Oh, I think it goes to
Go.
EAC, Heine. Go ahead, EAC.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Live streaming, yeah, on Rumble, on YouTube right now. Yeah, bro. Everything's going good for me. I started a new video series. I'm gonna turn $10 into $100, and it's really for educating, um, like new people. So see how that goes. And that's been fun. Yeah. Other than that,
Wait.
yeah, go ahead.
$10 to $100. What are you doing? Leverage trading, predictive markets. What? How are you going?
So I'm not.
Or it's just
It's not.
everything.
It's for like complete like um normies to get into crypto, and it's not going to be pumped on anything. So like it's not going to be gambling. It's a straight. It doesn't have to be a long. It doesn't have to be like to get there in one day. For tomorrow's video, I'm going to start with like with the basics, like get a Coinbase, or yeah, get a Coinbase account and get like free $30 for signing up to Coinbase. I think that's like where to start the normies, and then from there I haven't really decided yet, but it's just going to be more educational, from like how to get into crypto. It is a safe place, and it is a place where you can make money and not get wrecked.
Nice. I love it, dude. I'll definitely be watching, and I'll help in any way I can. Yeah, let's go to Heine. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. Just chilling. Just a little nightcap here. Just trying to get some work done, building out a couple things, doing a little vibe coding. Just coming into the space, man. I think today the markets were pretty decent, right? Obviously, stocks were pretty impressive today. Oil actually came down at least. The Brent oil came down. I think crude actually went up a little bit, but so that's a good sign. And then crypto did okay. I actually made a couple of trades earlier today around noon and caught the up on Bitcoin and Solana, so cashed out a little bit of profit. So that was nice. Other than that, man, just chilling, man.
Love it, man. Yeah, apparently you can. I don't use Hyperliquid, but you can trade oil on Hyperliquid, like they tokenized it.
Well, you
But
can't. I
any
mean, you need VPN though, right? You can't use that in the
Oh
states. Yeah,
yeah. That's why I
yeah,
didn't use it. But I
yeah.
mean, right? Knock on wood. No, but
We
no.
all
So
have
like,
VPNs, right?
you're right. So yeah, it's interesting because I've been looking at the futures of oil, and the WTI. It does look like. Remember what I always say, or it's not my saying. I took it, but I follow it. Is wicks need to be tested, right? So that WTI, it'll test it to 120, right? Now Brent, right, is like, I see why it went down. It's triple topped. It tested the wick, and then it tested that second wick, and it was a lower wick. So now it's going back, and we can talk about what's going on with oil, and maybe how it correlates with crypto. But I think the biggest thing that we need to like start pushing, like this goes along with what EAC is saying, is we need to adopt people, let the people know why the benefits of getting the crypto. And the number one thing that I'm gonna steal from Michael Saylor is Bitcoin is a hedge against chaos, right? And so I really do think that long term crypto is going to be the better investment, especially with the volatile political stuff that's going on in the world. But United States is the biggest market, right? It has the most volume. And one thing that I talk about is we're going to need volume to push the crypto market back up. And the last time we've seen that volume was at the bottom of the 2021 dump. And if you look at the chart that I have up there, you'll see these 7 bars, this arrow that shows 212 days, right? And I marked that from the high of 2021 down to what is the local bottom, not the bottom after FTX crashed. Okay, so that was 201 days or 212 days, and so we have only a few more days till we hit that, right? And then that green, candle, it's not a perfect doji, but it does show that we could possibly trigger a reversal here. So, April, will it be a green, a red month? I've heard people say it's usually red months, red candles are during the bear market, but this is the beginning of the bear. And most Aprils have been green candles overall. So I don't think that's a good indicator to say like, oh yeah, it's going to be a red candle. Everything's telling me it's going to be a green candle this month. So what does that mean? We will, and we'll talk about Bitcoin dominance. It was actually in that song, how Bitcoin dominance remains around 60%. And I'll load it up real quick, but Bitcoin dominance is hovering around 58%. It hit 60% or 65%. And then it's been, down since for the last, let's say 9 months, man. It's been around this 58% point. So what does that tell me? That's good news for a lot of us. Now, I did see a comment about alt season, and I do want to highlight this. I don't repost it, but if it's maybe I'll drop it in the purple pill. But Dr. Profit, who's like this really good, I follow a lot of the things he says. I've heard him, other people say this, but there is going to be no. He says there is no alt season. Why? Because there's just these, I don't want to say random pumps, but there's alts that pump, based on, what's going on. And, the last alt season really was probably back in January 21. So, will we see another alt season? I don't know, but I do like to correlate the ISM index with alt season now. So and I'm hopeful because the ISM is elongated. Instead of 4 years, it's 5 years. So hopefully we see a alt season in the next bull run. Now, reminder, this was a Bitcoin bull run, right? So that's, we just ended that Bitcoin bull run now, and now we're talking about, what it's going to look like in the future here. And so with the Bitcoin dominance hovering around 58, I think that, the alts are going to have an opportunity to shine. And this is, we've seen a rotation in the top 10. Stable coins are gaining market cap. We all know that yield farming and the stablecoin bill is going to push those guys up into the top 10. USDC flipped Solana and market cap. That says a lot, man. So, yeah, EAC, go ahead. I'm going to finish my chimichanga.
I just want to I saw some doom and gloom on the timeline. I didn't really pay attention about quantum hacking Bitcoin. Did you see that?
I
Any of
did.
that? In 3
And my
years.
hero, I'm just kidding. CZ made a long post regarding this. See, everybody wants to bash CZ. Here he is, $80 billion in crypto, and he's given us some things. I'll read the first part. He says, saw some people panicking or asking about quantum computing's impact on crypto. At a high level, all crypto has to do is upgrade quantum resistant post-quantum algorithms, so no need to panic. Laugh emoji. And if you read that article that I reposted, it's really interesting, especially about the part where people need to upgrade their wallets to the new algorithm, which is quantum proof, right? That means, he says, maybe Satoshi, in order to him, he may need to upgrade his wallets, right? And then we'll find out if Satoshi's alive or not. So I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, dude, I am not worried about quantum computing, and I'm not going to crash out about it. I'm just going to say that it's nothing to worry about, and really, if you ask Grok on that Google post, I think Cointelegraph put it out. Cointelegraph's a hit or miss. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Grok even, someone used the Grok thing. I love that meme. There's Grok's like, I wasn't designed to do this. Stop asking me to put on underwear on this picture. But Grok says this is completely false. And it actually gives a detailed reason why it's false. And it mentions Google's AI chip, which is Willow. And it literally gave data that even Willow is not even close to cracking the mem pool or whatever. But it is the thing is, this is what I'm saying. I don't think quantum computing can actually crack someone's wallet's private key. It would have to catch a transaction as it's going. And that's what I was saying. The mempool, they were saying it takes 9 minutes and the mempool's 10, right? So that then it could screw up the block before, and again, I don't believe that, because the way consensus works, right, is that everybody's solving the algorithm, right? So if it solves it first, then yeah. But I don't think it's gonna beat that it's just, I don't think it's possible, man. That's all I'm saying. And if it was possible, why don't you just solve all of your fucking block? Right? If I had a fucking, quantum computer, I'd be solving every Bitcoin block, gaining those fucking rewards, dude. They would do that over, trying to fuck up Bitcoin, right? So, anyways, I thought that was funny. Was that what you were referring to, EAC?
Oh yeah, no, that was yeah, and it just kind of made me think about it because Bitcoin does have a dev that we don't even know if he's alive.
Yeah, but again, that it doesn't matter, because there's the Bitcoin core, right? And that can be updated and mutually agreed upon. And they had to do that after Satoshi disappeared. There was a problem. I think it was 3 years or so after, where unlimited tokens, it created trillions of tokens instead of 21 million, and they had to backdate the fork and fix the thing, and they did it right away. So yeah, dude, I think I know we're gonna be fine. But yeah. But it is interesting, you know. Everybody wants to worry
Yeah.
about quantum computing, and they're not even close to fucking getting any applicable, application.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Tex. I went to the Futurist conference. What was it, back in November or something last year?
In
And
Florida.
yeah, and down in Florida. Were you there?
No. Barbie was.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I met Barbie. I think she was a hot mess though, because I think her phone or something. She lost her
No.
phone or
Her
something.
account got disabled.
Oh,
No,
that's what it was.
her
Yeah, her
main.
account got
Yeah,
disabled.
yeah.
Yeah, she was a hot mess. So I only talked to her for like a couple minutes because I could tell she was just, her mind just wasn't into it. So, but I did get to meet her, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, just when we were down there, they obviously Eric Trump was there, right? Because they were promoting, obviously American Bitcoin company, and I forget the one of the founders there, but they asked him about quantum computing and how Bitcoin could foolproof it, from a quantum resistance standpoint. And, he made an interesting point. He was basically like, well, before quantum computing can actually crack the code on Bitcoin, which, he doesn't think is possible because to your point, right? I mean, Bitcoin can, they can just upgrade it, right? And really, I think somebody said it in a space this morning. Ironically, this topic came up, but, they said that they could just, they could upgrade it and resist it to the quantum computing. But the main thing is like, before that even happens, or if it does even happen, is think of all like the financial like institutions across the globe. Everything runs basically on IBM mainframe computers. And you would think that quantum would be easily able to break that stuff way before Bitcoin and have access to whatever nefarious things that they want to get after. So way before Bitcoin, but so I thought that was kind of an interesting take on it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no,
I mean,
absolutely. SHA
yeah.
256 is not easy to crack.
I think the question is, if you were a criminal and you had a quantum computer, what would you go and hack first? And like me, I would go for the dead Satoshi wallet over like some bank where some government's gonna make me disappear.
No, but like I said, the dead Satoshi wallets are not transacting. So, you're not going to be able to crack that, So, and the actual, entire blockchain is very, very large. So, it, I just don't think that's even possible. Because you have to decrypt the entire Bitcoin core. You know what I'm saying? And that's I think 600 gigs. So that's not easy to do. What I would target is a 128-bit transaction where you could steal like people's what they're transacting on the computer, because usually around 128 bit. ATMs are 512 bits. They're so you wouldn't be doing that. But there's lots of other things that you would crack besides Bitcoin. Fucking, there's 990 million, or I mean, sorry, $1 trillion in perpetual contracts out in the world. You're gonna focus on the $2 trillion Bitcoin. I would go for the 990 trillion personally. That would crash the entire world economy. So yeah, there's a lot of other problems besides them cracking Bitcoin. It's just so funny that this is the problem with some of the crypto nerds, is like they think Bitcoin is everything. It's only 2 trillion. Gold is 40 trillion, silver's like 20 trillion or something. Come on, guys, let's be real here. Stock markets are 120 trillion. I mean, what are we talking about here? Why would nobody cares about the $1.3 trillion Bitcoin? Okay, well, that's what I had to say about that.
Yeah, it kind of made me sad.
I'm sorry, EAC. I don't know where Polygon falls under that, right? But yeah,
We're the number one side chain to the number two that does have a dev that's alive, so I'm confident still.
oh, touche. Yeah, live or dead. Yeah, I don't think it matters, man. These are all open source. things, and if someone wants to create a side, fork, they're welcome to do it, but I don't think they are, like look at Bitcoin Cash and look at Litecoin. They created a better mousetrap, and they're still around. Charlie Lee sold off all his Litecoin, and even after that, it's survived. So even if they sell all of Satoshi's 1 million Bitcoin, right, it's going to be fine. In fact, congratulations, we get Bitcoin at a lower price.
Can I just say something that's completely off topic?
Please jump in anytime.
I would just like to congratulate EAC on his minting out of his NFT collection. So I know it's been a long time coming, and he's been grinding it out.
Are you serious?
He minted it out. All
Wow.
10K, all 10K.
Dude,
Yeah,
congratulations.
1 year, 3 months. It was a grind, and the grind just really started because the floor price is already 4 times the mint price, and it's a hard grind on OpenSea to get to 24 ETH in trade volume. We're 2% of the way there, so I'm looking at another a year of grinding to get there, but it's going to be worth it, and I understand why they do it. And yeah, no, I just appreciate you guys for supporting, and I just love doing it. So if you do hold an EAC Alien NFT on Polygon, know that it will go up in value. And I always say that I don't ever sell shame, so I want people to take profits and make money. And if they're ever in the token or the NFT, um, they can say I made money off EAC.
Yeah, dude, that's, I agree too. I never self shame, man. There's too much self shaming. I think that's a Solana thing. We don't have to worry about it on Polygon and BNB. Right, Hermit?
I think so. Like, I don't think people. I mean, people always sit there and say they're like, oh, there's, they say they don't sell shame on Solana or whatever, dude. There's some sell shaming for sure. But that's why when you're designated degen, you get at least 3 NFTs. One to get your price back, another for more profit, and that one to get your initials, one for profit, one for Moonbag. But yeah, I generally don't follow the 3. I usually try to get as many as much as I can. Like I don't degen responsibly sometimes. If I like the tech, I don't degen very responsibly. I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. I get hooked up to the old hopium tank, and I breathe in deep. I breathe in deep.
Dude, that reminds me. I almost bought an NFT today, the N word of crypto. You know, uh, but it look, it was going for 368 and it's listed right now at 890. So yeah, I could have bought 3, sold. I mean, that's only like $40, but just for the principle, I could have got me a free NFT. It does have some utility. But whatever. I'll just wait for it to go down because the NFT season's not exactly in yet. It was, speaking of NFT season, that happened at the end of 2021. So a lot of people are calling for it, but a lot of people are still, fudding NFTs. So we'll see.
Well, and I think so. The biggest issue is with the whole NFT thing, is it was supposed to, you know, people got into NFTs because they're like, okay, I want to make some money, and that was the way to do it. Because apparently NFTs were easier to do than meme coin of some sort. But that back in the day, you actually had to be a dev to do a meme coin. It wasn't like it is today where you can just go to Pump Fun or whatever, 4.meme, and spin one up. You actually had to put in the effort to go do it. Or at least know somebody who knew how to. And I think then it was just with NFTs, a lot of people may have had a lot of projects, I should say, had great ideas. It just wasn't executed very well. Or it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. Things fail all the time, and people refuse. Like, dude, I can't. When I first started, dude, I got into so many NFT projects, like, it was kinda comical. It was comical because I was just like, "Oh," and this was also the metaverse, so that was a big thing back in the day. It was like, "Oh, we're gonna have our own little metaverse, and dur 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 dur. We're gonna do all this stuff," and, I wasn't like, "Oh, that'd be cool, let me be in the metaverse," or anything. I was like, "Okay, this sounds cool, let me make some money off of this," type of thing. Like, that was my intention the entire time, but, yeah, I pretty much quickly realized that, yeah, not all NFT projects are gonna make you a gajillion dollars. So, um, yeah, it's
Yeah,
unfortunate. That's right.
yeah, there was the Bored Apes, and then obviously the Crypto Punks and or Cyberpunks, and you know what I mean. And then they were all chasing, and the same thing with meme coins. Then they came out with the pump fund launch. And they diluted the market so much, and then they're going on crypto Twitter saying buy my Save the Animals NFT, and buy this silly Trump or court case blah 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 news NFT. Every time something happened in the news, there would be a new NFT, or I mean a meme coin. Yeah, it just got ridiculous, and they like, how many actual pump fund um coins ran? I think like one or two.
Oh,
So
dude, it's less than 1% every day when it comes to the meme coins.
no, but
Uh,
I'm saying the ones that went to the billions that actually pump fund,
oh yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So um you know yeah, you can catch a runner, and that's the other thing is like a lot of people think, like, I actually posted let me see. If you guys look at my post, there was a spreadsheet I thought was super interesting about Pump Fund. They were able to, yeah, here it is. They were able to use analytics, and like analyst Ted Pillow shares a breakdown showing 96% of the wallets trading Pump Fund. And so of the realized P&L over a million, there was only two wallets, right? Up between 500K to a million, four wallets. And then it goes from 200K to 500K, 21. Then 100K to 200K, 52. And then, and then so 2000 made, 778 made money between 10 to 50K. 30,000 made 1 to 10K. At this point, I don't even think it's worth it. 500 to 1K is 23,000. Now, negative 500 to zero is about 600,000. So what that tells you, right, is people just losing less than $500 on pump fund, they were done. Then if they lost more than 500, that's actually the majority, 671,000, right? Lost more than 5,000, but less than, no, wait. Yeah. So, well, it doesn't matter, but then if you lost more than $500 to 1,000, you're 9,000. So these are the gambling addicts, right? There's only like 18,000, but 1.2 million people, or let's say wallets, right? May not be people. They could be snipe bots. They're just losing. You know what I mean? They're just freaking losing. And then they're not losing a lot, but this is bad for crypto because they're going to be like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm never doing this again. So that's like 1.2 million, possible onboarders, um, and it's sad. It's really sad. They're like, crypto's a scam, you know? No, it's just a bunch of fucking losers with no life that just, thought they had a good idea and, launched a token, and then they want their friends to buy it, right? And then the next friend does it, and it's just wash trading themselves, They're using each other as exit liquidity. Let's call it what it is, you know? Uh, but whatever, it's fun, right? That's why it's pup fun. We talked about,
I mean,
go ahead.
it's gambling. I mean, it's just a different form of gambling, and I've always likened meme coins as like a lottery scratch off ticket you get at a gas station. Like, you get it. You're just like, you might get your money back. You might get a 2x or something like that, but most likely you'll not get anything back or something. So that's how I've always looked at meme coins. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. So But my point is, your expectations on gambling on Pump Fun is anywhere between 500 to 10,000 bucks, right? If you're the 50,000 out of 1.2 million, right? That's your lotto ticket.
Yeah, something like that.
Now, granted,
Sad
there's a
thing is,
lot of
I
pump
would,
funds that are, about community, and that's great,
yeah, yeah. I will say, I have unfortunately, you know, you probably know this. I have fumbled the bag multiple times on meme coins that came from Pump Fun, and I'm not talking a little bit. It's just it makes me sad sometimes when I think about it, so I try not to think about it. Eyes forward, forward, onward, upward. That's where we're headed. But yeah, it's funny. I think I'm definitely not the only one. There's plenty of people who've been like, who've had the same thing that I have. I sold too early, sold too late. That's pretty much that's my MO. Sell too soon, sell too late. So like I remember Popcat, I was down like 40% or something like that. And then I was just like, screw it, fudge it. I'll go get something else. Popcat, not the next day. It took a couple more days or whatever. That dude, it just ripped. It ripped and kept going. I was just like, why? Why did I sell my bag? I was not happy. Whiff was the same thing. I was up. I actually made a decent chunk on Whiff, but I sold everything and yeah, I had a big bag, but most of the time I would hold all this stuff, and this time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take profits this time, and I took profits. I took profits too soon. Um,
Bro,
like
that's me. I either take profits too soon or I don't take profits at all and let it go to zero.
yeah, that's me too.
But yeah, that's again, like that's my expectations. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna make thousands of dollars like I do like leverage trading. You know what I mean? Like it's just not realistic. There's just not enough volume. I have problems finding an exchange that has a large enough market book, where I'm not just, wrecking the chart on my degen leverage, and then being front run. So yeah, dude, but whatever. It's to each his own. I think it's good though, in the sense that it gets people prepared, for trading, taking profit. Like we always say, you don't go broke taking profits, and I love that we mentioned our rule of three, buy 3 times as much. You can do it with meme coins as well as NFTs, although some people say you can't. Sure you can, buy 3 times as much and then, sell, a third of each time, and then leave the moon back. Always leave the moon back. It doesn't hurt. Same thing could be said with the airdrops. And I see Andy down there. I know he's doing another space, but Andy just sells his airdrops right away. I sell half, because I never know, it might run. And by the way, Andy, my midnight token's doing pretty damn well. But he sold all his $500 worth. It's just $500. Just hold on to sell 250. I don't, whatever. And
I would say sometimes he's not wrong. The majority of airdrops, they do not do so well.
oh no,
Like
for sure, it's free money. They're gonna sell. It's gonna dump every
I
time.
think I think the biggest issue is a lot of the people doing airdrops don't necessarily know what exactly they're going to do. I mean, and the funny thing is you got a lot of people who are like, well, this airdrop wasn't big enough, or this airdrop wasn't this or that or whatever. And it's just like, my goodness. I was just like, dude, like for some people, like unless it's like if you're like doing a perps trading airdrop or something like that, it's like if you're good at perps trading, good chance you didn't lose money. So now you're just getting extra money. But there's plenty of airdrops, like, well, the midnight one. It's like I just turned on my computer and left my computer running for like 3 weeks straight or something like that. And anytime it turned off, I turned it back on and got it all set up again. But I'll tell you, like I was sitting there praying. I was just like, man, please, for the love of God, don't let my computer just like get fried or something like that because it was running too hot or something like that. But
Bro, I
you
had
know,
5 fucking browsers open, different browsers airdropping on my computer. And I only mine like $200 worth, you know, and I'm getting them, you know, I just got the second thaw, so I still have to wait for the third and fourth thaw.
uh,
So
Yeah, I
just
did
yeah,
it too, bro, and I'm glad that I did. And on the subject of airdrops too, I got confirmation that the like OpenSea, um, if you did their kind of their treasure chest, that like that'll get you an airdrop of the C token when they drop it.
oh, very cool.
no,
Yeah, but you know, I don't airdrop farm anymore. When that was something new, I was just trying to, you know, trying it out. You know, I was spending so much time, you know, learning crypto that I, you know, why not? And you know, yeah, I stopped doing it because, like you said, you know, I had these expectations that I would get a lot more, and you know, for my time, it was abysmal. You know, um, yeah.
I do
So,
think though, like it's been good learning experience. Like even when like I don't know if you ever did like learn to earn on Coinbase. Like it was
oh
free
yeah,
money and you
100%.
learn about stuff.
Those are
And
good.
so
It's
I think,
instant.
yeah, I'm gonna go like I would encourage people to do it. But I mean, like, yeah, don't get your expectations up. But if you're getting something and it's not like gambling, you're
Yeah, you
just
know, I
trading
did
your
that
time
during.
for money and it's not a lot.
Well, remember EAC during alt season, they were giving free tokens, you know? I can name it. Let me see here. I have my thing open. Yeah, but there was a ton of, you know, learn to earn for the new alts that were coming out. You know, some made it, some didn't, you know, and that's kind of a sign of alt season, you know. That's so some people say that wasn't there's no alt season. No, there's alt season when they start giving away free stuff like that. Um,
So for alt season, um, I do think that there will be one for certain alts, and because like hear me out on this. You know, like will I think Bitcoin
ooh,
will
I
top
always love
out,
it when
and
you say "hear me out" on this.
I think Bitcoin
When
will
have I
top out.
not heard
Like
you out, EAC? Come on now.
no, you're super respectful, and I sorry I disrespected you in Andy's space the other day. It's just because when you
That
get
was
going,
funny.
sometimes I just have to jump in and I have to get in there, or
No,
I had to take
dude,
my
that was
chance.
total banter. You know, I called you a Canadian.
Nah,
You
nah.
know, it was good. But continue.
And I did think about what you said, like on a to mention it to you, like crypto is not a business. Like being a decentralized entity is completely different from being a centralized entity. So although you can be professional and act like a business and do business like stuff, having a community that's pumping their own bags is does apply to crypto where it doesn't apply to a business in a sense. It's different. Anyways, yeah, back to the altcoin season thing. I do think so. So we know that like AI super hyped up, like you know, um, the stocks, Nvidia is way overpriced, and it's because of AI. And but that money's not into that's money that the money in the Nvidia stock is nothing compared to crypto. But if the AI agents, right, they need crypto to run, and if AI agents are running autonomously, they're going to need crypto. So that money, that Nvidia money, should come to crypto. And if they're using stable coins, let's say, well, the stable coins still need to run off a network, and that network is one of these alts. It's Solana, you know, Ethereum, Polygon, BNB, whatever. But so if if all these agents are running the the stable coins off the networks need to grow, and so the alts need to run. That's my
Yeah,
I don't
the
know.
thing is to keep the transactions low because AI needs like a lot, right? I think they're going to just create like your AI utility token, right? That is swappable for a stable coin, right? So I think that, but it's the same one way or another. It's the same thing. Um, but yeah, you know, I do believe AI is going to run on crypto for sure. It makes the most sense, but it it just depends on the application. It does if it's, in the real world asset type of stuff, it could be, it's on its own thing. Like look at crypto, or X. X has their own AI. They're going to have their own X payment, their own payment system. That might not be crypto, and it might be, but it might not. So it could run on its own. They got money transmitter licenses. They don't even need to make it crypto. Is my point. And what I always say, don't make it Web3 if it's perfectly fine in Web2.
So you think X money and AI agents can run like X money with it being like fiat and not on the
Yeah,
blockchain?
absolutely. So, I think that what's gonna, I think there's gonna be an X coin, right? And you earn that, and then you can use that on its own marketplace. Remember that Elon wants X to be the everything app, right? So you'll have that. Now you could buy X coin, because they have a money transmitter license, or you can sell X coin for dollars too. So they can completely do that, and it would be considered like a utility token under the new SEC rules. You see what I'm saying? Because you can use those X credits or whatever. They'll probably call it credits. They don't want to call it X money or something like that. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Yeah, the real interesting thing is what they're going to do with this what is it, the Clarity Act, right? Where they it's whether it's active yield or passive yield on stable coins, and obviously, like I've been agreeing with Brian Armstrong on the subject. He's turned down their offers twice, and the senators are just right now, the only thing stopping it is the industry. And I think Coinbase has a major say, in the United States on that rule. So I really hope that the Clarity Act does not get passed until they fix all the problems. And I think, I reposted what Brian Armstrong said. He said there was 4 major problems. I can go over them, but yeah, it's very important that those get corrected before it passes. Now, I don't trust these, especially after midterms. It's likely going to be, statistically, whoever's in power, the other party does better during the midterms. One of Trump's big promises was peacemaker, and obviously he's done the opposite with this Iran situation. Although I really don't think this is going to last very long, but we'll see. We'll see if he uses Marines to take those oil islands and then sell the oil. That's going to be a super long operation. He said that in Venezuela, and it hasn't panned out yet. I think it's more of a leveraging tool, just like he used tariffs. If he takes that Karg Island or whatever, which is pretty much Iran's source of power for their whole entire electric grid, I think Iran will have to negotiate. And really, he could give it to like the other Middle Eastern countries and say, we took this for you, you go figure it out, right? Take it over. Because usually, like what the Marines do is they go and take something, and then if it's going to be held for a long time, like nation building, they send in the army, and the army holds it. Right now, they just have 82nd Airborne, and 82nd Airborne's that's from above. So I doubt they're going to be dropping in islands, but if they do send in 82nd, they can drop right into the central of Iran and maybe take some uranium away. That's the big news. So that's what could happen. And I think that would be, political suicide. So we'll see what happens. Trump is a lame duck president. He's not getting reelected, right? So we don't know what he's going to do. But as regards to crypto, I still think that, crypto is a political asset, a hedge against chaos. So it might be a good thing for us, right? It might just break that correlation between the stock market and crypto. Just saying, it needs to happen eventually. Shout out to the one other listener in the grease trap down there. I don't know who you are, but like this is not a very big space. You know, I wish I could stop that from happening, but hey, shout out to you. You know,
I
that's
don't,
so funny.
I don't see anybody in the grease trap, but
Oh
maybe
shit,
it's just,
I need a
it's all
refresh
right.
then.
I think I think I have to refresh
No,
because
I will.
oh, now it went away. It went away. So, wow. So,
No, I
yeah.
got a listener down there, but I will say, guys, like these designated degen spaces are consistently like my most viewed on Rumble. So, whatever you guys are doing here is working.
Yeah.
it's
Thanks, EA. See,
I was just gonna say it's a little bit of degen, a little bit of not so degen, and you never know. You never know what you're gonna get. It's like a
well,
box of chocolates.
yeah, Hermit. It's so funny because Hermit's response to this space was almost time to degen responsibly. And I thought that was so funny. Like, when do we not degen responsibly, me Hermit? But it made me think like we are headed into a bear market, right? So like this is going to change our entire strategy. We're going to be looking for the diamonds in the rough now. You know, some people say it's going to be hard to make money. I don't think so. I just think you just have to change your game. A lot of these newbies in crypto that's been only here since 23, right? That's seen only, you know, Bitcoin up only. They saw, you know, Solana run. Uh, they're going to be, you know, disenfranchised, right? They're going to disappear. Like I said, alts are going to, you know, there's going to be alts that perform better than the others. And yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to it. The meme game is going to be, you know, a lot of the big meme coins were launched in the bear market. You know, you just have to time it right. Like, let's say Bonk. Bonk timed it in December of 2022. And, you know, that January 2023, the market raged with the ETFs, you know, around the corner. So, like, dude, I'm telling you, like with the Clarity Act, with the new SEC, with what else is a big catalyst? Hermit, what other big things are going to happen? You think next this year?
Oh, in terms of like a bear market thing?
No, like you know, positive things that could happen.
Well, okay, so to me, everybody's like cries about the bear market, and I think they only cry about the bear market because they look at their portfolio and they're like, "Oh, I should have sold. I thought we were going to go higher, or whatever. I should have sold so I could buy back more, or whatever." So that's kind of what they generally do. I find the bear market, it's a lot easier to find projects, protocols, or anything else. I find it a whole heck of a lot easier because they're not. If you're trying to make it in the bear market, it means you're willing to put in the work. Um, and so it's to me everything moves slower now. Sometimes when you've been in crypto for a long time, there's certain things in crypto things can move quick. Um, and sometimes they can move quick and it's great, but for right now, it's like, all right, things are going to move a little slower and you just have to be patient with certain things. So it's like I talk about it in when I do my own live stream, I talk about it. I'm like, listen, like if you're getting into it, don't be like putting in the money that you need for your rent or you need for your bills or anything else like that. But it's like, hey, I got some extra cash. Let's see what I can find. That type of thing. That's how I look at the bear market. So you just have to be willing to, search through whatever, you know, X, maybe it's just X or whatever, but it's just like, all right, I like what these guys are doing. I like what these guys are doing, so let me put some money in here. Let me put some money in there, that type of deal. So I don't know, like in terms of big stuff, I mean, there was something, was it the CFTC? Somebody, they said basically, God, I don't know which one it was, but they
It
were
could have
talking
been both. The
well,
CFTC and the SEC, they had a mutual announcement.
well, they were talking about how people's like, I don't know, they were saying like 10 trillion people's 401ks, like they were consider or like they made it okay for
Oh yeah,
those two. Like,
Trump's working on that.
yeah,
Yeah, Trump's doing an executive order with the 401ks. Yeah, and so yeah, that definitely could be a catalyst. By the way, I dropped it in the purple pill because I can't post up the top. Just the other day, like yesterday actually, I couldn't sleep. I'm an insomniac. I opened and closed the trade. These are 15-minute candles. I literally bought the wicks. You know, I said, y'all out there catching feelers while I'm catching wicks. So that's the thing is that's somebody that's willing to put in the work, to make money. And, short money is easy money too. So like, that's why I think, if you're leverage trading, that's going to be awesome, but you could always find, catch a wick in the bear market. And that's the other thing. Look at the volume. Do I have a chart up that shows the volume? Let me find that in the purple pill. I have to go back a couple charts, but you can see the volume actually pick up in the bear market. That's what some people don't realize. You need volume in order to trade. It's just like if you were on TradFi trading stocks, you don't want to trade a stock with little volume. You might get stuck holding that stock. Same thing goes with NFTs. You don't want an NFT that doesn't move. You'll be stuck with that. So you want volume, most importantly. Yeah, so here's a good one. Oh, this is the Elliott. Oh, this is perfect. I'm dropping the Elliott wave. This is my bear market projection in the purple pill. So, but I'm going to say, look at that volume in the bear market. So that's awesome for trading, dude. And, and that is, because they're have to work harder. What's up, Kuya? I'm not inviting this speaker host. So yeah, I dropped that in the purple pill. This is based on that Elliott wave. This is how I see the 2026 bear market play out. Wave B will peak around the end of June, and that aligns with the new Fed chair, right? It's so funny how all these things, correspond. Wave C will run the end of the year before hitting that support on the 618 Fibonacci. So, and that's where the Fibonacci is exactly where that 50K or 50 to 60K support is, and where the ETFs originally started pumping around 47K. Now, of course, it could be anywhere between, that 30K and that 50K. A lot of bears are saying 30K. More if you're more bullish, then you're around 57K. And I think this is the local bottom. If you look at how the charts that are posted up at the top play out and how long it takes for the market to dump. So and yeah, the volume is incredible. Look at the volume bars on that Elliott wave chart. It's insane. And this is what we need to look for. So look for the little, we know the local bottom is in when we start seeing spikes of volume. What that is, the first spike of volume was when Bitcoin hit that 60K, right? It immediately, like, dude, I had a limit order at 60K and it didn't fill. I was so mad. So I ended up getting it at 420. It was kind of funny. At my long. I still have open, by the way. I've taken profit on it twice. Because don't go broke taking profit. But yeah, I think we're gonna be doing relatively well. Now, I do say that Elliott wave, don't think that's perfect. If you look at that Elliott wave, you'll see when it's dumping, it's below the white line. When it's pumping, it's above the white line. So if you kind of calculate that in, you'll see where Bitcoin price action could possibly go. If it, I look, I don't think it's going to break lower than this 61.8 Fibonacci. A lot of people are saying if this wasn't a red candle, the end of month red candle, right? That's the last time it had 6 red candles was back in 2018. So that would be really bad, but we had a green candle, so I think, I'm going to remain relatively optimistic, even though this is confirmed for me a bear market. I wasn't going to call a bear market on October 10th because that was just straight manipulation. Now, we're rebuilding from here, and it takes time. It's just going to take time. But if there's some consistency in the chart, you're making money, guys, and that's what we're going to start talking about in the future episodes. So look for that. I love that EAC does like taking $10 and making 100. I am experimenting on a new centralized exchange, so I might do that. I'm going to start doing copy trading that I was gonna do on the last platform, but they shut down, I think, due to October 10th. So that's the thing. There's going to be a lot of things that are coming and going, and but one thing I warn you guys is like, the thing about it is like the reason I think they're crying hermit is that they can't scam anybody, anymore, right? It's really hard to scam people in a bear market because nobody's buying their bullshit, right?
You do have a point. I would say it's it's, oh, I'm gonna get this token, and I was sitting there looking. I was going through some Instagram reels yesterday, and I saw one like that's like I think their new area that sometimes will put in like a meme coin. And they're like, check out this new meme coin. It's called like this time it was called like Vanguard Digital Oil Reserve or something like that. Um, and they were just like, if you look at it, BlackRock is accumulating the token, and it's basically they probably when they launched the token, they you know bought boatloads of it and just sent it to a BlackRock wallet or a BlackRock linked wallet. And then they were like, even Trump on Truth Social posted about it. And I was just sitting there, because I've seen it before, and I was just like, well, did he actually post about it? And so I went to Truth Social and I checked. Nope, nothing about Vanguard Digital Reserve in April 7th. So it's like they always do this. Like there's like, oh, something's gonna happen April 7th. So be ready, get your bags now. And people obviously, I mean, if I could probably get some. And it sorry if you heard that, I burped. um
You all
and
right?
just yeah, nah, yeah, just get a profit off of it, because it'd just be like, all right, if they everybody thinks something's going to happen December or April 7th, so like, you just buy it, wait till April 6th, sell, see you later, have a nice day.
Yeah, dude. And that's the thing is I just think that we're going to, uh, see a lot of we're basically what it is we're switching from hopium to copium, right? And it's just not easy to sell. That it's just not. But there's still going to be some copium out there, guys. There are going to be people that wish they find that, it's just that everybody wants that, $1 million runner. And that's why I posted the pump fund thing. Only two people out of the entire pump fund made $1 million. All right. So 4 people made 500,000 and above, So anyway, good stuff.
Sorry, I was just looking at this post, and it said how it feels to 2x from the trenches. And it's just a picture, and the guy's just it's Joe Biden, and he's just looking amazed at the light show or whatever show. It's like some concert, I think. I don't know. Joe Biden and his looks that he gave just made me
Yeah.
just made me laugh. It just made me laugh.
But yeah, so dude, Kuya, what's up, buddy? I see Kuya on stage. How you doing?
Hello. How are you guys? I'm hanging in there. Lots happening in real life, but
So what do
just
you think about this bear market now?
it's a bear market now. Well,
Yeah, dude,
it
I'm
is a bear
calling it.
market.
I'm fucking calling it, dude. Second quarter, the Q1 finally closed. 2 red candles in a row, but the monthly candle was green. So I think we're gonna
So,
have a relief pump.
so if we're saying it's a bear market, then we're probably gonna go down to like 40, right? That was my if it's like the same percentage as the last bear market, it's gonna go down. Like I think I measured that a long time ago,
Yeah,
just to see.
look at
It's,
the thing in the top that you see my measurements of the 212 days, and then look in the purple
Okay.
pill for my bear market projection using the Elliott wave. Um, yeah, so that is
Okay, yeah, kind of makes sense.
yeah. So the
Yeah, but
Elliott wave.
what I did was I just took the
Yeah,
percentage of the past, and then it just
yeah.
and
No,
it's
and I
yeah, it's pretty
agree.
much the same. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so the thing is, and the reason why we need to go down so much is that we need max pain, right? We need to have it to the point where people are, so ready to, either give up or buy it, right? So that's where the volume comes
Uh-huh.
in, you know, and
That's true.
and you can see that in that Elliott wave chart. Look at the volume when it does hit the bottom, right?
When did
Volume
you start
comes
using Elliott waves? Have you been using that
um
recently?
just recently because
Okay.
the reason why Kuya
Mm-hmm.
is it's funny because you know how I talk about we're in a Great Depression. Hermit reminded me I've been saying that for the last 3 years, right? Um, but the Elliott wave was actually discovered during the Great Depression, so like it kind of
Oh, interesting.
yeah. So, but the difference between the last bull market and this one is it formed an
Uh-huh.
Elliott wave. You could see the three
Okay.
things. And the basis of the Elliott wave is that first they're impulse waves, right? So the first impulse was the
Mm-hmm.
ETFs. The second impulse was the Trump getting elected, right? And
Okay.
the third impulse died out. There was nowhere to go, right? There was no catalyst to pump it anymore. So now you have to have two corrective waves after that. And what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin pretty much follows the Fibonacci's, from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
We always had the
Yeah, that's
Fibonacci's, right? So
yep.
essentially that's how I charted it, based on the Elliott
Okay.
wave and the Fibonacci's.
Okay, yeah. I've followed people and watched them use Elliott waves, so I'm kind of familiar with it. But yeah, it was just you know.
And Kuya, you know what was amazing? And Herman obviously is the witness of this. I talked about the Elliott wave before Cointelegraph had it recently had someone on the interview that said the same exact things I said like days later. I was all like, Hermit, what's going on? And he's all like, dude, I think they have your phone tapped. But it
I
was
think they're the people that are in the grease trap sometimes. That's
Mm.
probably
right.
that's,
Yeah,
that's
dude,
probably
that's
what
the
it
grease
is.
trap motherfuckers. Yeah, and I've been look, I've been intentionally staying out of big spaces because you know what? Fuck them, right? Because I'm sorry, EAC. I know you're recording this on Rumble. I hope that's okay. But I hope it doesn't get you canceled. No, but the thing is, like, trading, especially in the bear market, it's about winners and losers, guys. You know, um, one thing that EAC and I are looking at are some AI analyte predictions, and it's interesting to see how AI trades. And I think it's good at predicting how other people trade. And you can either counter trade it if it got it wrong, if you have some data that says it's wrong, or you can trade with it and use it. So we're moving into an entire different, you know, entire different way of trading crypto. People are going to be using more AI. We've been seeing I think it's a big scam vaporware. uh but market makers and everybody else have been using bots this whole time. It's never been retail, and I don't think if anybody's selling it retail, they're just going to be selling the picks and shovels for the supposed gold rush. They'll come out with version 1.0, and then you have to upgrade to 2.0, and then you have to upgrade to 3.0, because if you're on the old 1.0, you're not making as much, and AI 2.0 is kicking your ass, right? So as you're buying the newer versions of this AI trading bot, you're getting, more into it than you have out of it. That's my opinion on it. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's if it's AI, it's interesting because there's a danger of it depends on how you do the parameters and stuff. Because if you don't do it right, it'll just go with what you think, and it'll just basically it's just gonna say yes to you because that's how you're thinking, and it's gonna just like any other thing with AI, if you don't put some guidelines, at some point it'll just be it's like you're gonna end up talking to yourself, kinda, because it's just based on what you're asking it and then what you're thinking, and that's the danger of it. So
I would
it
say
could
that
be the
like
same with trading. Yeah.
you guys are right at this moment of time, but
Hmm.
I mean, since I talk to AI every day, it is getting better to kind of guide um guide me where it was more me guiding it before. So I think
Uh,
that I like right now the bot that we're talking about, it's down,
I think it's
but it
yeah,
is
but I don't
improving.
think it's using our or his the devs like will you know what I mean? It's strictly factual data, and I actually
mm,
I give the dev credit. You know, it's using well I don't want to give out any of its secrets, but it's using some good typical ways to trade, but it's just not looking at everything, right?
mhm.
So um I think it can get better. I do have hope that
Oh, for
this
sure. For sure,
trading bot's
it's
going to get better.
gonna get better for sure.
And that's the thing is I want AI EAC to calculate what the market sentiment is, because that is a major way, because like I said, the way we trade is we have to have a winner and loser. So I want people to think it's going up so I can short it, and I want people to think it's going down to long it. So I want AI to predict when they're going to do that, because I know these market makers, baby, they're throwing out the bull and bear traps. So that's how I trade on the regular, and it's really hard to get AI to see that. How do you explain AI how market makers function? And the charts. But anyway, I want to say hello to Moon, man. It's been a while. I know you've been doing some of your selfie videos. I've been watching them. I hope you're not too far down the rabbit hole with your tin hat and the world, but I know you've been doing a lot of IRL stuff, touching grass, which is awesome. How are you doing, man?
Doing good. This is a good discussion here. On to the last question that you had, though, I think they just need time to analyze these things. And somebody's got to build a system, or they probably have, and it's collecting the data that I'm talking about now, like to be able to monitor, said market makers, like right, somebody knows like these wallets, right? Because it's crypto, right? The data's out there for the majority of these chains, except for some of these privacy chains. And something that I'm actually more focused on as far as like AI, and what like it's doing for crypto is the fact that I know y'all probably took notice of the Anthropic leak. It's probably on your timeline. They had their source code leaked to the internet today, and it actually had a little bit of blueprint for the future release. It's going to be Mythos, and that's going to actually integrate crypto wallets directly into Claude, like right there on the Claude API. And so that's pretty fucking cool. That's a big onboarding caveat. People are going to be able to pay for these tokens, and people are going to want to pay. Like, it's actually the first use case that I think like crypto, like maybe not the first use case, but definitely the like most probably like real use case that we can actually see happening for like crypto. Like, why it's like a good use case for cryptocurrency is like AI agents. Like, they're going to paying other AI agents to do services, download skills, whatever it is. The most easy way for them to do that is going to be with X402, developed by Jesse Pollock, Brian Armstrong, and the Coinbase crew. Open source code though on GitHub, and Anthropic decided they're going to implement it in their future. So that's pretty cool. Crypto's looking good here.
Yeah, amen to that. And I have somebody that's already using Claude to AI trade. He asked me to do a competition, a bet to see who could do the best trades in a month. And I said, okay, but we need to set some limitations because I don't stay up 24/7 as much as I have insomnia. I can't do the number of trades that it can. So I said, okay, how about 30 trades, the best, and that way I get to get a trade in a day. And right now I'm averaging with 20x leverage, I'm averaging, or I'm hitting minimum 20 percenters in this volatile market. So, it's just going to get more volatile from here, guys. As that volume starts to roll in, oh man, it's going to be scalp central, dude. I'm super excited, and you can even use grid bots. Once we see the where the trend is. So like if we are trending to that to my B wave, I'll have a grid bot running, and that's how I use a bot. And I don't consider that AI. I just think it's following an algorithm. It's a bot. And then once we hit the end of June, I'm going to switch that grid bot to pretty much bearish sentiment till the end of the year, until we complete the C wave. And so yeah, dude, I'm excited to be using that in the bear market. That's going to be one of the ways I'm going to make money passively. I'm still, by the way, guys, I'm still Bitcoin mining. One thing that I gotta say is I'm excited about stacking sats this bear market, bro, because that's where you make the real money. The red days are the bread days. So if you're in this thing for the long term, imagine around this time next year, we may be at the 140K mark, right? So I hope it goes lower for that reason, but I don't think it is, because I know what the miners are doing, and what it takes to mine, because I mine myself. I mine on solar. There's only like one other mining company that does that in the United States. Now there's, BlackRock owns 4 mining companies, and they also own the most Bitcoin by their ETFs, besides, what Michael Saylor's doing. I know what Michael Saylor's doing. He's 1.5x leveraging. He's selling Stretch or STCH or whatever it's called. And he's giving out 11%, and then he's using that to buy the bottom. So look, I think we're freaking pretty safe with where we're at. We're very close to bottom. So, you could start DCA now, or you could DCA after, on the way down of waves on the end of this year. You know what I mean? But remember, there is going to be I don't want to call it a relief pump, but there's going to be, until here to June, I think it's going to go up. So that's my prediction. I mean, I'm giving financial advice, but I'm not, it's up to you. It's your responsibility to trade how, as responsibly as you can. Degen accordingly, right? Like Hermit says that, now that it's a bear market, we need to degen responsibly. Okay, I thought I was always degen responsibly, but now's more time to degen responsibly, because it's just not the same, and I think it's gonna be good, man.
We always try to degen responsibly, all right? But sometimes we degen responsibly more than others.
But why did you say it was almost? This is the first time. You always say
Almost.
time to degen responsibly, then you said almost degen responsibly.
Yeah. Well, I think most of the time I say time to degen responsibly in response to the space, like when it's actually happening. And so when I said almost, it just meant we're getting ready for tomorrow. That's what I meant by almost. So it's like almost.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I've been trying to schedule these spaces a day before. I everybody knows I'm going to be running it at 7 p.m. And we have a lot of people coming in and out. It sucks because like the space that I do pretty much every night is this block thing, and they started an hour early, so some of the people didn't show up. That's okay. And the topics were all the same, So if you guys ever want us to go over a topic, like next week, let us know. But like I said, now that I'm personally calling it a bear market, I'm going to be starting to look for, those opportunities, those alphas, those things to be doing during the bear market. If I have to do leverage trading or, There's EACs like into the poly market type of stuff. I love that predictions. I think prediction market is way more important than AI trading bots. In fact, some of the AI trading bots use the prediction market, which is actually makes a lot more sense. But either way, I think prediction markets are going to be good to make some degen plays. I don't think, we're going to have, I think Pump Fun is, oh, by the way, maybe we should talk about this. Yesterday was this meme scope Monday. Did anybody hear about that or participate in that?
My
Or
buddy,
know what I'm talking about?
My buddy got wrecked.
Yeah. I figured as much. So for those that don't know, like there was supposedly some cabal was going to go pump all these random 2K pump coins, pump fund coins, right? And so they were trying to gamble which one's going to be the most, and so they said that, that I don't know what they were thinking.
Well, so I was hearing about it, and I was just like, "What the f is Meme Scope Monday?" And I was just like, "It sounds whatever." And so I ended up looking it up, and one guy was just like, he's like, hey, he was making fun of it because he was just like, Meme Scope Monday is basically where your favorite streamers somehow magically find all these tokens and but don't tell you about all their like bundled wallets on the side that they've already bought tokens with and all this other stuff where they run it up to 100K and take screenshots of their profits as they dump all over your heads type of deal. So I was just like, okay, that makes sense. And I was just like, yeah, once I had a feeling that that's what it was, but I was just like, is Meme Scope like an actual tool? Like, I don't even know what Meme Scope is, but I was just like, all right, screw it. So yeah, I basically stayed away from all of that. Mind you, if they ever do a Meme Scope Monday again, this might be the method. Is you get your bot set up, your Telegram meme coin bot all set up. You get all the settings set up so that way when the guy's like, "Oh, dude, look at the shitter 9,000 token," and you go, "Oh, let me get the shitter 9,000 token." So you get the shitter 9,000 token with them, but you take profit at like a 25% or 30% or 10% or something to that effect. That way, it's just like boom, you buy, boom, it sells, done. Then you just wait for them to call their quote unquote next token, and then you just go about it that way. Because I think with people getting wrecked, they're like, "Oh, it's gonna run, and they're like, "Oh, they got a 3x," and just liquidating all over themselves at that point, and then they're just like, "Oh, I got wrecked, I got wrecked," you know. So that's how I think if you ever decide you're going to play that game, that's how you should play it.
Yeah,
Take
no, I
take
completely agree.
take profits early and often on those things.
Yeah, dude. And I really think that, we're going to start seeing, the 2x, 3x take profits on all those things during the bear. I don't think we're going to see, huge runners. I just don't, there's not enough liquidity out there to pump them. I'm glad Barbie's here. Apparently she went into some other space instead of coming here after I invited her yesterday. How are you doing, Barbie?
Oh my goodness. No need to put me on blast. I literally just got in the house and someone invited me to that space at the same time and I just forgot. I just walked in my door.
I'm just kidding. The thing is, they started that space an hour early and they want me to go do that.
Oh.
You got feedback on your mic.
I have feedback? Oh.
Yeah, so when you're unmuted, it's every time when you're unmuted, it and then someone else is talking, it comes in here. I don't know what's going on. So if Barbie's talking, everybody mute.
I'm muted, so we're good.
Okay. But yeah. Go ahead, Barbie.
Oh, I said it was just me. It was just me. That's all. And how's everyone else doing? How's everyone's night going?
Okay, so I have to wait till you mute. No, it's good. You know, we're to catch you up just real quick is the first quarter candle closed red, but the end of month candle closed green. So as you probably already know, the last five monthly candles were red, and so the last time there was 6 red candles in a row was the end of 2018. So this is I'm taking the win here with the end of month candle being green.
Thanks for that update. I appreciate it. I'm also actually trading at the moment. That's why I'm just hold on.
Ooh, what are you trading? I like it. But I'll hold on. Okay. But yeah, so I've been trading too. I've been trading. I've been longing. I've been longing, guys. Um, I feel like this is gonna. If it was a red candle, I would be shorting. To be honest, if end of month candle was gonna be red, dude, I'm thinking we're going down to 50K. And we still possibly could. There's a big liquidation, heat map between 52 and 56. It just started though, right after that 60K dump, where a lot of people longed, but we still have that CME gap up at the 79 to 84 CME gap. Yeah, 79 to 84. So I think that we can go touch that. If not, I think if we go lower, it's gonna invalidate the Elliott wave. Oh, look, we got shiny coming up. Welcome, shiny. How are you? Welcome, shiny. Oh, we got a stage farmer. That's okay. Anyhow, we're an hour and 30 minutes through. If you missed the first hour and 30 minutes, EAC is recording this on Rumble. So definitely catch the playback. And it's open forum, man. Any questions, come on up, grab a mic. We're talking about this bear market, and how to make some money. I get messages all the time saying, hey, Tex, like, put me in the right direction. I tell them, come to the designated degen space. That's what this is about. I'm, I can't help you if you're not going to willing to do the work. A lot of people just want an easy way to make money. Guess what? That's not, we're not in green candles anymore, right? Except for the end of month green candle. So there's, that's the thing, guys. You're gonna have to grind, and I'm happy to do this because, when like Hermit said, I think the good projects are going to stand out from all the bad projects now. You know what I mean? So there's only so much liquidity to go around. So I'm not going to say that it's over. I made it through one bear market. I can make it through another one, and but I learned from the last bear market. I'm not going to buy every NFT and meme coin or friend. I'll just call it a friend coin that they pitch me. That's just throwing your money away. I'm going to be stacking satoshis. I'm going to be aping in and dollar cost averaging into some of my conviction plays. Yeah, dude, I'm going to be, building, red days are bread days. So, by this time next year, I think that, look, I stabilized my portfolio about 25% starting in August, right? Overall, my portfolio, because I've been redistributing, is only down actually now it's only down 20%. It was down 30%. So that's me, shorting and longing and using the profits to buy the dip, the DCA in. So my portfolio this time next year is going to really skyrocket. like it did the last bull market. So I'm so excited, guys. Like I said, it's all about stacking sats right now. If you're trying to make fiat money, I know the stablecoin market might look good on these yields. Go ahead, do that. I think that's going to onboard a bunch of newbies in the future with this Clarity Act passing. That's great. But I didn't join crypto to hold stablecoins, right? It's better than keeping them in your bank account, but I don't keep much money in my bank account. I keep an emergency fund, like 9 months of my expenses in a bank account, and that's it. The rest of it, I'm property, gold and crypto, right? And so, I'm loving this. I'm so excited, guys, about where we're going from here because I'm getting things at a discount. And like I said, I mapped it out for you guys. That the Elliott wave has been checking the boxes all the way, right? I almost think that it's coded, you guys, with the Clarity Act, the changing of the SEC, the midterms and everything. I think and even I know Bitcoin is coded. It follows the Fibonacci to the T. If you Google like Bitcoin halvening circular chart, you'll see that every time Bitcoin halvening 4 years highs. This is what happened in October, and this is what happened in November during 21. It just continues to keep going, and you can play Bitcoin at least by the Fibonacci's. But some people don't like Bitcoin because they're not leverage trading, right? They look at Bitcoin can only go up so many percentage. So they get into meme coins. They get into, altcoins like Solana. Solana is going to be it's down right now. Solana is front running this dump. And I think that, it did actually recover a little bit. So that kind of proves that we're going to go up. But Solana is going to become very good, well priced soon, and you're going to have the most return with Solana because it's a lower coin. I'm more of a BNB guy. It has consistent growth, because, I hate to say it, but CZ owns most of it, right? So there's really good supply control. Some people like ETH and they believe in the development in ETH. I call it a stable coin, but Ethereum is at a good buying point right now. I would scalp that kind of midterm trade, what else? There's so many things that I'm looking forward to, in this bear market. There's going to be some gems that are going to come up during this because, like I said, there's only so much to go around. And one thing is for certain, that's why I watched the Bitcoin dominance chart, is the rotation, that people rotate in crypto. They're not going back to fiat. They're going to rotate from Bitcoin either to a stable coin or like a Doge coin or like a, just another lower cap, less volatile coin until, it rotates back. So lots of opportunity, guys, in this. So, I hope that we can do this, throughout the year, and I hope we get some more people. I really want to, help people make money in crypto. Now that this is, going to be my second bear market, I'm looking forward to, taking full advantage of what I know now, and stacking sats. So anyway, with that, let's get to closing comments because I don't have much more to talk about. I opened up the mic for anybody that has any questions. Maybe talk about what their good idea fairy is so we can shoot it down. No, I never talk shit on innovation. If you have an idea, bring it up. We'll help you out with it. I'm not going to steal your idea. Okay. This is not a recorded space, although EAC might be recorded and I can't promise you anything, but, we'll talk about it or shoot me in the DMs. We could talk about it next week. If you have an idea, we're all for it. This has been a big day for me because I've been telling people, wait till the first quarter candle closes. I wanted it to close at 88K. to prove that this was just a correction. Because I know these MFers are going to take, they're going to trap a bunch of people. There's a lot of fear in the market, and what Warren Buffett says, he is be greedy when it's people are fearful, and be fearful when people are being greedy. And the fear and greed index is on 30. So I'm going to be greedy and make some plays, which I've been doing. I've been posting, my charts. If you want to leverage trade, hit me up. I want to, Hermit, I was thinking about this. It's like, one thing I do want to build in the bear is I want to switch off of X space, because it's been buggy, to more of a streaming platform where we could throw the charts up. But I don't know if that's going to be boring for some people. So, again, let's see,
I'll say this. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
It's actually you'll probably get more reach. And I only say that for whatever reason. It's like, if I were to do, I mean, obviously my live stream that I do couldn't really be done doing an X space. Like, I couldn't just sit, you have to see what I'm talking about type of deal. So, and for whatever reason, I mean, I man, past few times I've gotten some decent views on my streams, and I say decent. I'm not sitting there saying, "Oh, I've got hundreds of views" or anything like that. But let me double check. Let me see my pinned.
Yeah, Hermit,
It
real
says,
quick.
it says I have
You're on
135.
Rumble. EAC's on Rumble.
Yeah.
I have a Rumble account. We'll stream on all 3 channels, dude. We can stream on multiple platforms, so we absolutely will get more reach. I did this, and you and I did this for the crypto Twitter, right? Because there's so many bullshit out there, right? And we wanted to just give back to our community. So this is great. I don't care about monetizing this. I just want, it to be more entertaining, more of a good time. And I think our 2 hours has been great. Once a week has been great. I used to do spaces every day, and it's just like, what bullshit we're going to talk about today. The fear mongering on the fucking timeline. Sorry, I cussed again. Sorry, EAC. I just don't like the drama. You know what I mean? I want to see how we are making money. That's the problem in these spaces. Everybody's extracting from everybody, using each other as exit liquidity, when we could easily be using our skill sets to make money. And I know everybody here, Kuya, Hermit, Barbie, Moon, EAC, Shiny, all those people that I just mentioned have their unique way of making money on crypto, or making crypto on crypto, Twitter. It's, and they're all good at something. And, we don't have to do what other people do, but, share that. Let's collaborate. One of my favorite books that I read was called Wikinomics, and it's all about collaborations. An economy that collaborates is a better economy than someone holding all the secrets to themselves, right? That's just how it works. You can't be doing this in a bubble. That's why I was like so bearish on AI, but if you want your little AI agent to be, your buddy trading, good luck to you. But I rather be dealing with real people. AI can join the bunch, because I'm not going to shit talk AI, because, if they take over one day, they're going to remember me, so be nice to your AI. But I'm just saying, I want to deal with real people. And I'm looking forward to, this year, because I have more conviction than ever about where we're going now. Q1, that candle really made sense to me, and and a lot of people have been saying that there's a lot of bit of manipulation, a lot of stalling. Like look at the Senate in the United States stalling the Clarity Act. There's a lot of whether it's intentional or not, there's a lot of you can read the sentiment, or the kind of control that they have. Everybody thinks that we're not progressing in crypto are dead wrong. Like, everybody thinks because Bitcoin is down right now, whoa, look at Bitcoin, was a higher price, 5 years from now. Well, it's a 4-year cycle, dude. You know, say that next year, right? But the point is, like, you know, we've made great strides in the last 5 years that I've been around, you know, and Barbie's been around 10 years. I'm sure, you know, she can tell you about a lot of other stuff, you know. So, you know, and then Moon, how long have you been here? What, 3 years now? And Hermit, I don't know, but you guys are still around. You know, you made it through a bear market. So, yeah, dude, I think we could just keep building our community.
I will say I've technically been around since CryptoKitties back in the day. I think Ethereum was at $20 back then. I'm not sure. Um, and yeah, I've been through some journeys in crypto off and on, and then really started diving in around late 2020, 2021, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I could say the same
All
thing,
started,
Hermit. Yeah, I was very
it all runs.
skeptical
It's all
about
the same.
crypto.
It's all the same. Dude, all the days run together now.
Yeah, you know, and the thing that really got me into this was COVID, man. COVID sold it for me because I'm a big economics guy. And when they printed 25.5% of all the money in circulation, I said, fuck fiat, man. Sorry, I cussed again, EAC. That's the third one. I need like a cookie jar for him. I'll just tip EAC every time.
It's all
No.
good, man. Like, the stream's not safe for kids, and Rumble's
Oh,
pretty, doesn't
okay,
give me a
cool.
hard time.
Good to
And
know. Good to know. Well, I try to keep it, you know, family friendly. But yeah, no, I do believe, like, you know, we can build in this bear market. You know, we'll be streaming on Rumble. We'll be, you know, I think X platform is kind of getting old. You know, it'll always be there, but I think that we can build a better, you know, social, you know, what is social-fi, you know,
I think
with
I think in terms of news, X is the best in terms of just like speed. Um, Mind you, I will say sometimes it's like a double-edged sword. With speed comes with the speed comes like inaccuracies, so it's kind of one of those deals. But in terms of like reaching to people, like there's better ways to do it, as far as I'm concerned. So, and I will say though that with X, you know, you get you might be able to get more interaction. So if it's like we start streaming, it's going to be like me, you, EAC. Um, I mean, I guess you can also invite other people,
well, we're
but
gonna
they
stream
have
from
to get
X,
it.
Hermit. We're not getting rid of X.
Oh
I'm just
no,
saying
I know, but
we're
I'm just saying,
expanding to other social platforms.
but I'm just saying like that. Some people, like if I'm driving, which I'm not anymore, basically like make sure I'm home early enough to get all my stuff squared away that I can hop on this without any issues. But it's like, you know, I know sometimes I've tried to stream, like I'm streaming from Rumble or whatever. It's hard to do it with on mobile, um, but not on laptop. So just yeah. Anyways, I retract my statement of what I was gonna.
I am optimistic that Elon's smart enough to know what he needs to bring to the app, and he's going to bring it with the X money. I think X money comes. I think that then the next thing is you can buy Bitcoin up with X, and then I think he'll integrate more like yeah, screen sharing stuff.
Yeah, no, good point. I've been suggesting that, Elon, if you're listening, that because he is still listening, by the way. Just because I'm not recording doesn't mean he's not listening. If you click on closed captions, they're definitely recording this. But no, if what they did, like with Grok, is they made it a separate app. I think they should do that with Spaces. That way, like they could just focus on Spaces. You know, the X app is very buggy on lots of things. It's a memory leak. It runs down your battery. I would love it if this Spaces app or was just an app. That way I could just load that and it would be way better. You know, and make it so like Apple and Android are all the same, you know. But of course, all you Apple people are just want to be have your little I'm better than you with my little sound effects and all that other jazz. And you could pin to the billboard. yeah. So
Well, don't think that Elon didn't get a fat check from Apple for doing that.
good point. Good point. But yeah, no. So it doesn't matter. You know, I might get an Apple tablet. I might break down and get one. I need to get a new tablet anyways. So I might just get an iPad. But either way, you know, we'll still be on X. But I just want to make the point that I think, you know, building in the bear means expanding to other platforms. You know, like you're doing EAC, getting, you know, creating videos that show people how to onboard into crypto. So yeah, I definitely think the bear market's a good time. Volume's going to be a lot higher, you know, and we'll see. You know, it's going to be more realistic, you know, because a lot of people come in here chasing hopes and dreams, and they should be, you know, uh, trading in a market that goes sideways, right? And rewards people for, you know, building something awesome. And that's what the bear market provides, right? Like Solana, right? Solana made it through the bear market from $9 to $25 and freaking blew up to 296, guys. So don't tell me the bear market isn't going to bring some opportunity, right? Um, it may not happen as quick as you know these Gen Zers and want it to be. You know, it's not going to be like a TikTok, you know, ad or whatever, but it's going to be amazing. You know, but anyways, with that, anybody else have any closing comments? I got a great song to load up, by the way.
I can always say something, Barbie, unless you have something to say.
I'm surprisingly something less to say for the most part this evening. But you know, just stay tuned, check the timeline. Something's coming.
Moon, what are you working on in the bear market?
Getting better with these AI models, bro. Right now, I'm
Hell
installing OpenClaw into this Mac
No, wait,
studio right
Moon.
now.
Moon, get this one. It's called Zoe Computer. It's so good. It is so good, and it's new right now, so they give you like a shit ton of credits for free. It's sick. It's like it's basically OpenClaw. Like I made agents and stuff. They all work different hours. They get different jobs done. They report back to me. It's crazy.
Hell yeah. I'm kind of fascinated with the idea of local models right now. I'm just being able to kind of get away from having to rely on fucking Anthropic and OpenAI, be able to use some of these some of this code that's on GitHub here. So that's kind of why I'm investing in the hardware right now. Kind of bullish on buying computers. I don't think this shit's gonna get any cheaper. So that's kind of like fuck it. Might as well just start stocking up. Kind of like these sats, bro. We're in a
Good takes.
technocratic.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to get cheaper either, man. Not if they start printing dollars. You know, oh, that was the catalyst. I just thought of it, Herbert. Yeah, they're going to money print. Duh. So money printing, for you guys don't know, makes crypto a lot more money, you know, because people are like, they need a hedge against the money printing. So yeah, that's a huge one, guys. They're going to be money printing like crazy. One of the statistics I threw up was in 2000. Yeah, 2000, the world government debt was 19.7 trillion. Mind you, United States is at 39 trillion. You know what it is now? Across the world, it's 111 trillion. So don't tell me, you know, that you know they're not gonna crypto's not gonna go, you know, take off, because their spending is out of control. You know, the world is in so much debt, not just the governments, but everybody. Yeah, so I think crypto is going to be the refuge for those people wanting to protect their finances, right? And you know, self custody. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting when people start to realize that. Um, you know, so yeah, that's a huge catalyst. Shiny, are you here? I'm just going through them one by one. The Queen of Nigeria, she's probably on the Glow phone. EAC, any final comments? I got a really good song. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, like the space is recorded on YouTube and on Rumble. So if you missed it and want to check it out, all you have to do is find me, EACNFT, and you can watch it. And then yeah, check out my videos I'm making. Just give them a like, appreciate it, and appreciate Hermit, Text, Barbie, Moon, everyone that shows up here weekly and just helps each other, because I think like you know, when you have friends, you want your friends to have money because everyone's just in a good mood and having fun and spending money, and that's what we do here. So yeah, man.
Yeah, amen to that, EAC. That's probably the best take of the night. You want your friends to have money so everybody can have fun. Back when the economy is good, I'm a boomer. But when the economy is good and everybody's making money, it was having the most fun. Unfortunately, like in the last 5 years, I've been making money, my friends haven't. So it's kind of sad. And you lose a lot of friends, because they're just using you. It's pretty sad. Oh, but anyways, Hermit, dude, go ahead, take us out, and then I'll play us out.
Yeah, folks. If Texas says we're headed, I figured we were in the bear market already. And everybody, you're going to see the timeline sad. There's no reason to be sad. Be happy, because why? It's a great time to always buy some more crypto of your choice. Do it responsibly. Preferably, if you already have a job where you're making money, then you can take some of that money and buy some more crypto. It's probably the smartest thing you're going to be able to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to say buy Creecoin though. I've been shilling Creecoin probably for the last, dude, I feel like 6 months at this point. Obviously don't go all in, but get yourself some, or at least check it out and see what they're doing. And that's all I got. Peace out.
Thank you, Hermit. Yeah, so this song, it's a parody of Drake, started from the bottom and now we're here. You know that song? And look, maybe we've been in a bear market. I get it. But we're close to bottom, guys. And this is where we're going to start from the bottom. And then, a year from now, we're going to be like, now we're here. Okay. So that's the song I'm playing. Enjoy. And then we'll see you next week. This always takes some time.
Bottom at the bottom, now we're here. Bottom at